Today is October 30th, and this is The View with Catherine Chang. Today's topic is U.S. pork with returbing. First, President Tsai announced on August 29 that the U.S. pork with returbing will be imported from January 1st next year. And this U.S. pork bill is currently being discussed in the legislative yuan. And today, the opposition party KMT seemed to show signs of stepping back on against the U.S. pork with returbing. Why? Here are some points. A. Premier Su Tseng-chang was unable to report to the legislative yuan about U.S. pork for the fifth time today, and it has been more than 38 days. The delaying strategy of KMT aroused the criticism from the Taiwanese people. Therefore, the KMT today kind of shows signs of stepping back. They announced a new request with 3 points. First, the food safety reports. Second, travel to the U.S. for factory inspections. And third, locals can set the rules of zero detection of returbing by themselves. However, I don't think the government will agree on the number 3 item because according to the officials, it is the central government that has the authority to set maximum residues level, MRL, for feed additives rather than the local governments. B. Another new issue is, besides U.S. pork, can pork with returbing from other countries also be imported into Taiwan? The answer is yes. But in the end, only U.S. pork will import to Taiwan. Why? Because according to the regulations, there are 13 countries that can import pork to Taiwan and 9 European Union countries that do not use returbing. So only the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand remain. However, the Ministry of the Council of Agriculture, Chen Ji-zhong, said that the pork imported from Canada to Taiwan does not contain returbing, and New Zealand and Australia hardly ever export pork to Taiwan. Therefore, the pork with returbing is still mainly from the United States. Some KMT legislators deliberately act very surprised while saying that they didn't know that a pork with returbing from countries other than the United States can also be imported to Taiwan. But what ironic is that this official document was published 2 months ago, and there have been several meetings. How could they not know? They just show their stupidity. C. The main reason why Taiwanese people are so concerned about pork with returbing is that Taiwanese eat more pork than any other meat. But in Taiwan, per person eating beef with returbing, it's about 3 kilograms a year. But with the U.S. pork, only 0.6 kilograms. Therefore, the government wants everybody not to worry about the U.S. pork. What's more is that former President Ma Ying-jeou lifted the ban on U.S. beef with returbing in 2012. So the argument is, how can former President Ma lift the ban of U.S. beef on the returbing, and on one hand, and on the other hand, he kind of opposes U.S. pork with returbing? That doesn't make sense. So I agree with the idea that U.S. pork with returbing is still a controversial issue now. But I think that in the near future, Taiwanese people will reach a consensus. Here are the top stories. Today, we have one confirmed case. It's an imported case. We're talking about a Filipino male in his 30s came to Taiwan for work. First, let's look at the cross-strait military situation. You know that Chinese fighters entered Taiwan's ADIZ for 3 times this morning. And Chinese fighters entered Taiwan's southwest airspace at 8:18 a.m., 8:27 a.m., and 9:28 a.m. today. And at the same time, a Lucky EP-3 reconnaissance aircraft also passed through the Bashi Channel and entered the South China Sea. As to the F-5E fighter accident that happened yesterday, some people think that it has been served for more than 40 years. So it is time to talk about the replacement plan. Taiwan Air Force responded to the issue of F-5 fighters' ability. It said Republic of China Air Force will gradually replace the F-5E and F types of the fighters followed by the plan, and it is expected to be completed by 2024. Also, Taiwan Defense Minister Yan Defa kind of sent condolences to F-5E pilot Chu Kuan-meng's mother. You can see that this is Chu's mother, and over here, this is his wife. You can see over here that they are both very sad. And Minister Yan Defa said, he said, from the next year, the Taiwan 7th Tactical Fighter Group will have a priority to do the replacement of F-5 fighters, and all replacement will be completed within 3 years. On the other hand, the U.S. criticized China's sanctions on arms supplies to Taiwan, where we know that China put sanctions on Lockheed Martin, Boeing Company, and Raytheon. Assistant Secretary, Bureau of Political Military Affairs Clark Cooper said on Wednesday that it is not the first time that Beijing has threatened sanctions upon U.S. companies. He also said the provocations that are coming from Beijing, the bullying behavior, we are making sure that Taiwan is not bullied or overcome by Beijing. U.S. think tank CSIS Director Bonnie Glaser said that the United States will back Taiwan up regardless of election outcome. Glaser said that recent U.S. steps to strengthen Taiwan are in large part of a reaction to a growing pressure in Taiwan from China and are therefore likely to continue under a Biden administration. Glaser even said that the FTA might be signed if Biden is elected. She pointed out 2 points. For one, it's lifting the ban on U.S. pork. Glaser said that I think an FTA might be more likely under a Biden administration because Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen has taken the politically courageous step of lifting the restrictions on U.S. pork and beef imports. For another reason, she pointed out it's about the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer. Why is that? Why FTA is not likely to sign under Trump's administration? Glaser said that the Trump administration's U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer has put a lot of focus on negotiating a trade deal with China, which he views as his legacy. Taiwan can help, and Taiwan's achievement was praised by the international community. U.S. actress Barbara Streisand praised Taiwan President Tsai for coronavirus control, and, she treated that Taiwan, a country with almost 24 million people, has had 7 total COVID-19 deaths. This is what real leadership looks like from Taiwan's wonderful female president, Tsai Ing-wen. As to the U.S. presidential election, we can talk about that Joe Biden calls his son Hunter as the smartest guy I know amid questions over business deal. We can see that over here. He said, Hunter is the smartest guy I know. On the other hand, according to the Fox News, Jim Biden, we know that, his Joe Biden's brother refuses to answer questions about family's business dealings. He said to the reporter that, I don't want to comment about anything. Would you please stop bothering me? Well, let's take a look at the latest poll in Florida. We can see over here. Biden and Trump show up in one of the swing states, Florida, at the same time on October 29th. According to Reuters IPSS poll, we can see that Trump got 47% of the support rate and Biden got 49%. Biden leads 2%. In the end, come to everyone's surprise. According to the Reuters, the Putin praised Trump for a role on global oil markets ahead of the U.S. elections. Well, tomorrow is Halloween, and we want to see that what will happen. Well, I just wonder about what those witches said they would do to Donald Trump. They said they're going to have something on Halloween. So we want to know that what will happen. Well, are they going to say trick or treat? Well, also today, I want to put this on. This is also for Halloween. We have the Halloween in Taiwan, too. And this is the mask with Halloween. So I wish you all have a lovely Halloween day. It doesn't matter whether people treat you or not. Don't do tricks to them. So I'll see you next Monday. Bye.